No, I think England's. I've just spoken with Steve Cooper, so he seems pleased with it. You're never quite sure at this age group who the strongest teams are going to be, but certainly I think Group D was one to avoid as that was being drawn out. The most important thing is the experience for the players, opportunity to see some really good young players play. And for them to get tournament experience. So I think for the supporters it would be great for them to go and see guys who will be stars as tomorrow from all the different countries. That's the history of this tournament, and I'm sure that will be the same this year. It's great if we can have success, and the last year was beyond everybody's expectations. We've got to try and repeat that, but the most important thing is the development of the individual players, and by playing in these tournaments against top players in the opposition, then that really prepares them for coming into the senior team later on. Yeah, there are a lot of things really. I mean, the type of players that the club academies are producing. There's a lot of good work going on in our clubs first and foremost. St George's Park is obviously a brilliant base for us now for our national teams. There's more consistency in how we're working, and we're in particular trying to get better opposition for our young players. So that's why a tournament like this is so important. They have a little bit of pressure performing in front of good crowds, hopefully, and that's all part of their learning process. I think everybody at St George's is involved in what's going on across all of the teams and right the way up to the seniors. So whenever there is success or whenever there's disappointment, we share in that. Everybody that works here, everybody plays their part. Yeah, we're pleased that I think everybody can see the way we're trying to play. The team are improving. We're still a work in progress because we're a young team and we've not been working together for very long, but I think everybody can see what we're trying to do now, and there's more enthusiasm for the performances, and I think we've all enjoyed it more as a group of staff and a group of players as well. Yeah, well, I think we've got good young players coming through, so we feel it's the right thing to do to start to blood some of those. We've probably given 6 or 7 debuts in the last 2 get-togethers for young players that have come through the pathway, and there are more underneath that as well. But we've got to get the balance right because some of our experienced players are very important to us as well. Well, I'm not sure that we can keep blooding new players at the rate we are. I think what we've got to remember is we already have a lot of young players. We're talking about guys who've made their debuts in the last couple of games, but when you look at the likes of Raheem Sterling, John Stones, Eric Dyer, they're only 24. The likes of Marcus Rashford, Dele Alli, 2021. It's an incredibly young squad. So I don't know that any more will come into that over the next couple of months, but there are some very good young players underneath that are still developing. So it's not impossible, but we've got to get the balance right. Yeah, I think it's difficult to add something that hasn't already been said, because the way he was revered throughout the game, a real class act, a gentleman, time for everybody, great humility, and of course a top player, to have played for Milan at a time when English players didn't go abroad and play in the big leagues. He was totally respected there. Fantastic performer for England, hugely proud Englishman to represent his country, and personally very supportive to me when I was a young player. Had a brief spell with him at Crystal Palace, and then in my time with England he always used to send messages of support, so he'll be sorely missed.